Get boned.
What? What do you mean?
We got boned. Them bones, them bones.
Actually, yeah, that's what you should have started with. Is the song?
Oh, them bones, them bones.
Yes.
Did you know that the bones are their money? So are the worms.
Oh my god.
Do you want to play a game?
What's your favorite scary movie?
Be afraid. Be very afraid. See dead people.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Here's Johnny.
The power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you!
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Welcome to Talking Horror with Jamie and Nikisha.
Hi, I'm Jamie.
And I'm Nikisha, and this is Talking Horror with Jamie.
And Nikisha.
Where we share our love for all things scary and talk horror through the lens of human behavior. Well, welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
Get boned.
What? What do you mean?
We got boned. Them bones, them bones.
Actually, yeah, that's what you should have started with. Is the song?
Oh, them bones, them bones.
Yes.
Did you know that the bones are their money? So are the worms.
Oh my god. Well, the reason that Brian is busting out in song about bones is because today we're talking about the 2026 post-apocalyptic horror film, 28 years later, The Bone Temple.
This is a memorial to the dead.
So, is this all you're doing?
It is.
Are you Old Nick?
Old Nick? You mean Satan?
Yes. Old Nick released his demons unto the world of man. And the world of man fell before the demons.
Bones.
Get them bones. But just shouting out "get boned," it was like, whoa, 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 hold on.
Yeah, that was maybe a little bit aggressive up front, but
right.
Yeah.
But we got there. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie was directed by Nia DaCosta, and it was written by Alex Garland. And I didn't know this, but it was shot back to back from the first 28 years later, and it's the fourth installment in the chain. And it stars Ray Fiennes, Jack O'Connell, our favorite vampire, Alfie Williams, Aaron Kellyman, and Chai Lewis Perry. So heavy spoilers if you have not seen 28 years later, The Bone Temple. And Jamie, please hit us with those trigger warnings.
Yes. I would say if you haven't seen this one, the last one, there's the first one, perhaps, several. I mean, also it's the fourth movie in the chain, so you should watch them all. You should. So this movie, there's a lot of insides on the outside, between the fact that this is takes place in this like zombie apocalypse, but also it's the humans that are the bad ones all along.
In a zombie movie?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so we have
You sound like our toddler. Uh-oh.
You're so right. But let's see. We have some leg injuries. We have some skinning. We have some what was I gonna say? Not like restraining people, but like lifting people up, like tied up, like hogtied kind of. We have like fighting to the death, arrows to different body parts, a hook to the back of the head,
right.
People burning to death, lots of wiener action. Peen, big peen.
We got boned.
We did get boned.
There's a lot of aubergine in this movie.
Yes. Yep. What else? My brain went totally blank. I mean, like cult activity,
satanic things.
Yeah, like satanic things, references to like euthanasia, drug use, just the apocalypse in general. Any other? Oh, I guess like attacking like people.
Teletubby dances.
Oh,
references to Teletubbies. Oh, a crucifixion.
How could you forget that?
Oh, and like
stabbing.
Meta commentary on Jimmy Seville, who kind of those characters are based on, who essayed children, but that info never got released based on when this movie went into the apocalypse.
Yeah. That was like in the British world, like pop culture, right? Yeah.
We talked about that in our episode of 28 years later. So if you want to listen to that, I'll put the description in the I'll put the link in the description here. So if you want to listen to our first episode on that, then that might inform this one a little bit too.
Yeah. Fantastic. Is that all, Jamie? I think that's pretty much.
I think so. I feel like I said a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah. And if majority of those things you're like, not for me, then, just don't watch it. Yeah. It's okay. There's other stuff to watch.
It's fucked up.
It is.
Wow.
Can't wait to get into it. But before we do that, producer Brian is going to give us a couple of words.
Yes, I will. Hi, That's it. 1, 2, 3. Hi, everyone. Hi, everybody. Producer Brian here. Thank you so much for joining us as we get boned. We are here to talk about the Bone Temple, but if you want to hear more about other movies that we don't necessarily cover on the podcast, you can, of course, check out our social medias at Talk Horror Pod. You can find us primarily on TikTok as well as Instagram. Check us out there, again, at Talk Horror Pod. We're also on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Find us there. Watch our videos over and over and over again because we need the hours, but we hope you enjoy it as well. I think that's everything. So thank you again for joining us. If this is your first time, welcome. If this is not your first time, welcome back. I think that's the only two real options. If you got here accidentally and you've been here before or not, like how? Hey,
tell us.
Listen, yeah.
Okay, amazing. Well, have you guys watched some things since we last spoke?
Probably. Oh yes, but it's not. Well, it's not horror, but maybe it is horror.
Ooh, tell me. Now I need to know.
We've been watching like late 90s, early 2000s teen sex comedies, and we we also saw the Scooby-Doo movies, which I think we can absolutely say falls under, horror adjacent.
Yeah, for sure.
Those live action movies, especially the first one, it's so good. The cast is like, they are so well cast, but also the soundtrack to that movie is like a fever dream of like, I don't even know. When you start to hear about like, what artists, the one that now I'm going to forget. I need to think about, who is on the soundtrack. There's like a combo that is wild to me. It's
there's Outkast in it too. Yeah.
Yes, but it's like Busta Rhymes and somebody else. Uncle Cracker and Busta Rhymes.
What a combo.
What a combo. Shaggy is on this, Outkast, Lil Romeo and Master P, Solange, Sugar Ray, Kylie Minogue, Baha Men, Simple Plan, MXPX. Like, this is like a wild soundtrack
of the time.
Whoever produced this musically, if they didn't get Shaggy into it, like that would have been just like a big party foul.
Exactly. Have to have Shaggy.
Oh my god. But yeah, man, what a incredible film. Highly recommend a rewatch. It's wild. And then we watched, Brian had never seen 40 Days and 40 Nights, starring teen heartthrob. I guess he's more like a young adult heartthrob, Josh Hartnett, who is, you know, in like Scream King, like in The Faculty, and in that episode of Black Mirror. Yeah. But he plays a man who gives up sex for Lent. And trigger warning for the end, because like the end truly, it is wild, and like there's like no
Nikisha,
appropriate reaction to it.
No, I haven't seen it. I've heard about it, but I've never watched it. Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything, but the last 10, 15 minutes of that movie is a fucking horror movie for the audience. It's not edited that way, but it's a fucking horror movie for an audience member. I was truly shocked at how this movie ends.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
So watch it.
Yeah. Okay. And then another one that I feel like even less people have heard of is the movie 100 Girls, where
it's from 2000.
Where, yeah, it's like it's old. But this college guy ends up in an elevator with a woman that he never sees physically because it takes place during a blackout. And he like falls for her, and then the next day he wakes up and she's gone, but she left behind her underwear, like a pair of her underwear. And so he decides that he's going to go into this dorm and go through everyone's underwear in the dorm to find a matching bra to the underwear.
To find his dream girl.
Yeah.
That is very 2000s.
Yes. It's like, it's so incel-y. It's like, it's so misogynistic and incel-y. It's really wild to watch.
This movie is awful, but also a 5-star
Brian was like
film.
cringing while watching it because the stuff that this guy says. Also, the whole movie is just him monologuing. He never shuts the fuck up.
No. He's like this little 4chan bitch who just like, he's this incel, but it's being written as he is charming and really like thinking and like being a thinking man and stuff like that. But I'm like,
and every time he's asked a question, he never just says yes or no. He has like some dumb anecdote to give about it to like get to his point. He like, he really doesn't, like, everything is mansplaining.
Hate it.
But do you want to hear this cast?
Yes. Oh God.
Okay. The male is played by Jonathan Tucker.
Okay.
Who you know from things like he was in Justified, he was on Parenthood, other stuff, I'm sure. Emmanuelle Chikiri, was that how you say her name? From Entourage.
Oh.
You have a very young Katherine Heigl. You have a very young Larissa Oleynik. You have
Brian's crush.
my first real crush. Then you have Jamie Presley is also in this. And there's a lot of other people that like you will know from like other things, but just wild. Truly a fucking horror movie. The way that this guy talks and moves through the movie, and that he doesn't get like killed or punched in the face by me, like it's I hated him. I hated him. You know what he was? He was. Did you watch How I Met Your Mother?
No.
Oh, he was like.
Oh, you were gonna say he's like Ted Mosby, but like to like the nth degree.
He's Ted Mosby. Truly awful.
Like,
is that Neil Patrick Harris's character or no?
No, it's the main character. In that show, yeah. Anyway, yeah, we watched those films.
Oh my God. And now I need to I just want to see a trailer for 100 Girls.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even. I bet it's an awesome trailer. Like in a bad way.
Yeah. Because oh man, do you remember the time of trailers where it was like in a world and then like that kind of thing? I'm like fairly certain that it's one of those types of trailers.
And the comedies were always just like, whatever I forget his name is, like Michael's just your average blah blah, and then when he finds himself in an elevator and only left with the panties, like he's gotta become the maintenance man and sniff everything. Like and his best friend is a huge douchebag. And like, will he find love in the end? Check out 100 Girls, coming to cinemas this, Valentine's Day. don't forget your lube, boys. Like some like awful shit like that.
Free condom for every
Yeah.
first 15 people who buy a
Yeah,
ticket.
Absolutely. 100 girls, more like 100 swirls.
Incels all sitting in a movie
Yeah.
theater together.
Yeah.
Oh
Maybe
my
they can
God.
fuck themselves. Anyway, yeah, we watched those two movies. I'd also like to say, I forget if we talked about this last time. We watched Bugonia.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, you didn't talk about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did watch Bugonia.
Your ghost, you've done it again.
We got
Bugoned. I really liked it a lot, and the more that I sit with it, the more I like it. The performances are wonderful. It's great. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay.
I really had a very good time watching it. Jamie?
Okay.
Yeah, I was really enjoying it. And there's just a lot of things that make you like really question what's actually going on, and I feel like the arguments made by everyone are like, unhinged but still kind of grounded. It's just it's a really the script I think is really interesting. Because again, Yorgos, he's a wacky guy.
And the score is cool too.
Yeah.
It has a very similar score feel to The Favorite, just in terms of like lots of silence and then like big orchestrations, that type of a thing. It's on Peacock. I would highly suggest it. Again, out of this world performances by everybody in that movie. Truly, like that's like there's some like I feel like they're like I would put this in a list of like watch this for an acting lesson type of thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Great.
And then I watched.
I was just gonna say I saw the trailers for it, and it looked like an interesting concept. So I'll get into it.
And then I watched the 2026 animal attack movie Killer Whale. These
how was that?
Bad. And coming from someone who liked these things, it was bad. The CG was bad. There weren't enough attacks because they obviously had a small budget. The human drama was boring. And don't watch it. Killer Whale from this year.
Dang.
There's like a 1970s Killer Whale movie. I watched the one from 2026. Not great, Bob.
Oh no. And that's coming from someone who loves an animal attack movie.
Yeah,
and it's just not. Okay.
Not great, Bob.
Well, speaking of Nia DaCosta, I forgot that I watched Hedda, which is another movie that she directed.
You did?
Oh. Yes.
And?
Because it's on Prime.
Prime.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the choices that they made to make it like a lesbian love story. I'm like,
sure.
Yeah, go for it all day, every day. But I didn't really buy too much their chemistry. That was the only thing. But the acting and the direction and everything else about it was gorgeous. And I love Tessa Thompson, like top fave, like actress. She's just phenomenal in everything that she does. And it's really interesting seeing more movies by Nia as a director, and just seeing like what are her things that is specific to her when she's shooting movies and things like that. So it was really cool to just kind of sit and watch it. And then it just like made me think of like high school when we had to, read that play. And then so it was nice to kind of revisit it in that sense. Cool. But if you like Ibsen and you want to watch it, I think it's a good adaptation of
cool. I really do. That's very high on my list. I would very much like to watch that. I also love her as a filmmaker, which we'll get into more here, obviously.
Yes. Fantastic. And right now, I think she's the only female director who has put out or has had like major movie releases like back to back within like the span of 8 years or so. Like I need to know what the actual number is, but like she's right now the only female director who has put out like consecutive movies in a short amount of time.
Oh, sure. Because like you have the Marvels, you have the two movies we just mentioned, Bone Temple and Hedda, and then Candyman, and what's the other one she directed? Like Private Lives. What's it called? It's Tessa Thompson again, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, cool. That's awesome. That's a good fun fact.
That's great. Awesome. Well, should we get into Bone Temple? That's what the people.
Let's get boned.
Little Woods. Is that what you were thinking of?
Oh,
which one?
Little Woods.
Little Woods.
Yeah, Little Woods. That's what I was thinking of.
Those woods are so little.
Hello? Is anyone in there?
Well, producer Brian, you got to give us this plot summary. I know you love doing that.
What's the plot?
So
I do.
You have 2 minutes on the clock to give us a plot.
Nikisha, do you want to do the honors of keeping time?
My phone. Where is my phone?
You can just count. You can just count to 120.
Okay, no, I'll.
Okay.
Sorry.
I wanted to give you some. I wanted to empower you.
I appreciate that so much.
But now your phone's disempowering you. So wow.
Well, that's a constant. That's a story for another day. But thank you for that. Again, representation matters. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Oh yeah.
That is the funniest thing I've heard all day. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay. Producer Brian, are you ready to get boned in under 2 minutes?
Yes.
That
Great.
was great.
You're so welcome. All right. Ready, steady, go.
Okay, so The Bone Temple, this is a sequel to 28 Years Later. Where we leave off, Spike has now joined, is being forced to join Jimmy's crew, and he basically is put to a fight to the death. He kind of accidentally kills the guy he's fighting because he stabs him in the femoral artery. So he is now one of the 5 fingers of Jimmy's crew. They basically go and torture this farm house with this family, and a lot of them die, and the Jimmys, I mean, and then they go and basically find the Bone Temple that we know from the first one. Then there's a second plot line that's happening at the same time, where we have still the Doctor, played by Ray Fiennes, is now getting high with the Alpha. He's basically taking his morphine drugs, and they're getting high together. And he decides that he's going to kill the Alpha, just put him out of his misery, because when he is on the drugs, he's super calm and a little bit more lucid. And so as he's about to do it, he ends up saying moon. He says a word. And so he actually ends up giving him pills, like to these psychedelic type of pills, to basically erase the rage from him. And he starts having memories of his past. Now, what happens is these two stories converge, where Jimmy, everyone's kind of losing faith in Jimmy, but they think that the Doctor is the devil because he's covered in iodine and he's red and he's in this bone temple. So Jimmy goes and basically says, like, finds out he's a doctor, but he threatens him. He's like, you need to pretend to be the devil for my crew. So the crew goes down there, pretends to be the devil. He plays Iron Maiden. It's very funny. It's really funny. This movie is very funny. Jimmy ends up dying, as well as the Doctor. Spike is freed. And then we see the Alpha start to not really know what the fuck is going on. And we also get, this is more than 2 minutes, and then Jimmy is attacked by another separate rage monster. And then in the very end of this movie, similar to the first one, we're left in a cliffhanger where one of the Jimmys, who we like, played by Aaron Kellyman, and Spike end up escaping. And who do they find? But they find Cillian Murphy and his daughter from the first movie. Well, the daughter's not in the first movie, but from the first movie, end of movie. Can't wait for the Bone Temple, more boning.
And that's the plot.
More boning. That's exactly
More
what it's going to be
Extra
called.
boned.
Actually, yes. Can I get some extra bone on the top? Thank you. Great. So let's get into our first segment, Trick or a Treat, where we let you know right off the top, was this a treat, loved it, or we don't know how we feel about it, or we're just kind of neutral about it. And Trick, not our cup of tea.
Trick. Treat.
Jamie, trick or a treat?
I think this is a treat.
Okay.
Yes.
Producer Brian.
Big time treat. Huge treat.
I'm in the
Okay.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah,
with
let's
our
do it.
likes, with our likes and gripes.
And now our likes and gripes.
Jamie, how about you go first?
Sure. So I'll start by saying I didn't love 28 Years Later. In terms of like the first three, I think that was one of the weaker ones for me. And I think this was like an interesting kind of like further close up on this world and like, you know, what's been happening after all of this time. And you know, I think that there's some things that I really enjoyed and then other things that I was kind of like meh, but then there's one particular thing that like that's why I enjoyed this movie, if that makes sense. I was really fascinated by the relationship that the doctor had with the alpha. It was just, I think that, you know, for one person chatting and then another person kind of like not being entirely lucid, like you could still see and like discern their relationship with one another. And like that was just really, it was really fascinating to like watch them engage, even though the alpha was like high on morphine. But even just the fact that he like enjoyed that state of being, and that we learned more. Like, I like that we learned a little bit without it, you know, being so obvious of his experience, like, you know, becoming infected, but also what the perspective from the infected see.
Yeah.
And again, it was just like a very quick thing, but it really like informs, you know, why they're all acting in this way. And the fact that they're calling it like, you know, the rage virus, like it also makes more sense because now we have like a little bit more insight. So that's really interesting. When the alpha said moon, Brian told me, I didn't remember doing this, but Brian told me that I audibly gasped in the theater. Like I was like, oh my God. Like internally, I just was like,
yes.
But that was a great moment. Like just a perfect movie moment. And I'm going to get to the best scene in this movie. From the jump. So the best scene in this movie is when all of the Jimmies go to meet Satan, aka the doctor, after he had this conversation of like, you know, you need to like, if I'm going to kill you unless you like put on that you are Satan for my followers. And so he puts together this wild performance where he has created these like pyrotechnics and he's playing Iron Maiden and he's like just really hamming it up. He's dancing. Like the performance is incredible. This is it's such a highlight of this movie. You know, this man who's like pretty grounded mostly in science and like trying to honor the dead, and like, you know, he's never really been fearful of anything, and like this is probably the biggest risk in a while that he's like taken on, which I also think is really interesting that he's still like committing himself to.
You mean the character or Ralph Fiennes?
No, the character.
Oh, okay.
Because he says something about how like he hasn't like felt that kind of fear in a while. And so like I think that there's something really interesting about you know, again, like engaging with somebody who's unpredictable, somebody who is dangerous, and perhaps he feels like that person is more dangerous than the alpha. So it's again like that dynamic I think is fascinating, but really this scene in the movie and his performance of like pretending to be Satan, and like the you know, the act that he's putting on is one of the best things I've seen. I mean, this year, but that's like a silly thing to say, but like in a while.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that whole
I know
fire,
Brian had a lot to say. Yeah.
moment.
The
was
pyrotechnics.
Yeah.
spectacular to just watch. And just like we were
Mhm.
talking about, like the direction of it, you know, like it was just, we always talk about aesthetics and things, and
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, sure.
with how movies are shot and stuff. And I just feel like how it was shot was so well done. But that whole fire scene, I was just like eyes wide open, like give me more of that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and like what I really love about that sequence. So I'm all in agreement with Jamie. Not only is that going to end up on some of like definitely on one of my like end of the year best scenes in a horror movie list. Like
Mhm.
that was just like so much fun. The audience was really into it in the theater. Ray Fiennes was just like deeply committed. It was just awesome.
Yes.
But what I love the most about this scene and this movie in general is that it allowed itself to be funny, and it's not like that scene was funny, and it's not because there are like one liners and jokes. Like this isn't like a, you know, like an 80s to early 2000s comedy with like the zingers and stuff like that. Like this was very much funny because of circumstance, and it was about character in terms of like the Jimmy's believing it and us setting up the fact that he listens to these albums. Like all of that just led to this really humorous scene. But the brilliance of the scene is not that it's just funny, it is funny, and yet the tension and the fear is still building in you. It's so well balanced from an editing perspective, from a tone perspective, everyone was on the same page acting wise. Like nobody in this movie was in a different movie than somebody else, if that makes sense. And I just think that Nia DaCosta is so talented, and this is clearly from her point of view. Like this movie reeks of her in the best way possible. Like even before that, there's a lot of humor in this movie, all the Teletubby stuff, like, you know, like just a lot of the Jimmy stuff, the Jimmy conversation with Dr. Kelson, like when they're bantering back and forth with each other, like, oh, are you saying, like, they're like, are you the devil? No, I'm not the devil. Oh, are you, like, and they're like bouncing things back and forth, like, I'm an atheist. Oh, I'm, you know, like, so you're a Satanist, like funny shit. But like but people were peopling. That's what it is. People were peopling.
Yes.
Like given these circumstances, people were peopling, and it was funny, and it was scary, and it was unsettling, and it was all of the above. And I think that this movie succeeds incredibly specifically in those areas. I just wanted to add to that so we don't have to waste my time talking about it. But not waste, you know what I
Yes.
No, yeah, I think you summed it up very well of like why this scene works so well, and like it, yeah, kind of like the culminating more or less like end to this particular. They're making another, like this is part of a trilogy as well to an existing trilogy. It's getting confusing in my brain.
Duology, right? There's no third one
in this.
No, it's 28 days, 28 weeks. Years, Bone Temple, TBD.
Yeah.
Right?
Gotcha.
That's what I thought.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway. Yeah, we all got boned. Things that I was like, I mean, these are the things that I really enjoyed. I have a hard time, I think, with like the Jimmy's stuff, probably more so because for me personally, it's like disturbing. Like some of the gore was like very hard for me to watch. So I kind of just like didn't enjoy it. But that's like a totally me personal thing, as opposed to like, you know, that this is bad, or like that this uses it in a bad way. I think it was interesting that what was the framing? That this was charity. That like that, I thought that was really interesting. And so like the people that they're coming across and the way that they are you know, harming them, mutilating them, killing them are sacrifices. to Daddy Satan. And something else I was thinking about that I kind of asked Brian loosely after the movie is like, to what degree, and obviously like this is totally speculation, but like to what degree do we think that main Jimmy is like suffering from some kind of like hallucination, delusion, like psychotic symptoms, or because there are, when he has this conversation with Ray Fiennes, like when they first connect, he mentions that he actually does hear somebody, and like kind of this inciting event that that he references, but like and then at the end when he's dying, he says that he can't hear him anymore. And so it made me wonder, like, you know, are these like symptoms of a mental illness that he's struggling with, that he is like perceiving as, you know, Satan talking to him?
Sure.
Or what else could be going on? Or again, like it also maybe seems like there's some self-awareness because he asks Ray Fiennes' character to like pretend to be Satan. So it's like, what degree is there some kind of like mental health crisis happening? What degree is he like fully aware of you know, how he's manipulating this group of people? And I kind of kept going back and forth, and I kind of maybe like that it, at least to me, was a little bit vague. And I don't know if there's a clear answer. Maybe I'm just confused and weird, but like that was kind of what I was like evaluating throughout the movie based on like little clues that I feel like they dropped, where it's not, there is no definitive answer.
So I've been thinking about your question a lot, like as we prepared for this episode. And I think I agree with you in terms of like, it's kind of this 50-50 aspect of it. Like, sure, the voices could have manifested after his PTSD kicked in, after he watched his father being taken out, you know, like, and then he interprets that one way, but he's also like cognizant and aware enough to know that like, he is still in a place of power. He is using this, you know, to take advantage of people. Like, he's still very clear about that because of the plan, like you mentioned with Kelson. So I definitely agree with the 50-50. Based on what you said, here's a question for the group, actually. The Jimmy backstory is what starts the first movie in this trilogy, right? So like we open while I'm watching the Teletubbies, he goes to his dad, and then we cut that, and then we're all just in on the Spike storyline. At the end of the first one, the Jimmys arrive, and that's the cliffhanger of the first one. This one, we're really, really diving deeper into Jimmy and the Jimettes, and he and like we get less of Spike in this one. I understand that we are creating a trilogy here, so we want to put like different puzzle pieces in each movie. Do you think that this movie would have benefited from actually having the Jimmy opening as opposed to the first one having the Jimmy opening? Does that make sense?
No, that does.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I mean, I think this one does, just for like, I think the through line and the focus that they have here, but I don't know, maybe
I don't know.
That was just my
I feel
thought.
like
I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been successful either way, in my opinion, because to have it in the beginning gives you at least some groundwork, so you don't have to do a lot of exposition or explaining what's going on in this one, and you can just kind of get right into what's going on with them. But I have in my notes, I wanted to kind of be with the cult a little bit longer, which might be like a hot take, but in kind of just really diving in deep of like the backstories within the cult, or even more stuff about the head Jimmy or whatever. So I feel like it could benefit either way, but it was cool in this one to kind of know a little bit of what's going on, and then you're waiting to come back to the second one to be like, okay, what else are they going to tell me about this? Because we already have like this information, this base knowledge, and now I really want to dive deep into like what's going on here.
I guess at some point I would like to watch 1 and 2 back to back, and I actually think that might improve the first one for me. Not a lot of the things that don't work for it, but I think that like that would be an interesting watch through. I think. Yeah, cool. Just wondering.
Yeah. Other thoughts, Jamie?
Nothing else really. I guess the only other thing was like I didn't need that ending. Like I guess I don't know what's gonna happen next, but like it felt a little fan servicey. But other than that, I don't really have that much more to say.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed the fan servicing at the end of it. Just so you got to give something to keep the people coming back. You know what I mean? Because I feel like in this one, you know, we're already knee deep into the apocalypse, and there wasn't a lot of like zombies attacking or, you know, rage people attacking as much, I
That's
think, as
true.
the other ones.
Definitely. Yeah.
So it is kind of like, all right, well, what else can we give them to kind of keep them coming back? And it's like, yes, we have these nice relationships with you know, Ray Fiennes and Samson and all that stuff, but I don't know. I think it needed that for me. And the reason why I say, sorry, I'm taking my turn now. Hi.
Yeah, please.
The reason why I said is because I think as much as I really did enjoy the relationship building that was happening, like if I want to see a zombie movie, I want to see a zombie movie. So like I want to see people getting attacked. It's not going to be boring for me because I like seeing those things. So for me personally, and I know that this is like definitely personal preference, like I wanted to see you know, even the Jimmies like fighting off, you know, zombies and not necessarily just like attacking other people and all that stuff. I also thought that the head Jimmy, even though like the crucifixion setup was so great, I feel like it still felt a little anticlimactic for how awful of a person he is and like the death that he got, which is really crazy to say that crucifixion didn't feel like enough for somebody's death. But in this movie, I feel like they set it up so well of Ray Fiennes kind of being like, oh, I have one more commandment and we got to do this because of this, you know.
That was so good.
It was so good. And so then in that moment, I'm like, oh, give it to me. You know what I mean? Like, I need to see it all. Like, I want to see that satisfaction of this man's like pain because of all the pain that he has caused, you know, other people.
That's totally fair.
Yeah. And I just feel like I didn't get that. For in that moment. So that made it a little as well. But again, loved the dance and the song and the soundtrack, and it was really campy. And at first I was like, does this feel like it's kind of out of tone of what's happening? I don't mind it because I love the scene. But then just like thinking in the grand context of things. But like Brian, you were right. You mentioned that there's like little quips and things that are happening all throughout the movie that just like give you permission to kind of laugh at whatever is going on.
That's it. The movie gives you permission to laugh so that scene doesn't feel out of place. I feel like that scene could feel like a tone shift if we're not giggling throughout the whole movie. And we are. And she still keeps the fear and the tension and not making this like a campy romp, like a weird tonal shift completely.
I agree.
You know,
I think the tension building underneath still, because you're just like, is he gonna pull this off? And you're waiting for the thing that like, you know, rips the whole fantasy away. And
then with the addition of the tension of all the fingers, you have Spike with the mask. Like, is he gonna pull the mask off, and what's he gonna do?
Right.
Then you have Aaron Kellyman's character, who's like really questioning everything. Then you have the other bozos who like don't really know what to do. So like all of that tension like really builds into and Jimmy wanting to like, you know, spread his fingers all around, you know, Jimmy got fingered.
God. Aaron Kellyman's character, I was also just so fascinated with her and her journey. And even in that scene, I loved her kind of having the realization of like, oh shit, I thought he was like fucking faking it, but this actually is probably is real. And that whole realization was like, absolutely, yes. love everything about it.
Yeah, Erin Kellyman, just a little side, I love Erin Kellyman as an actress. I think she is wonderful. I think that she has gotten a raw deal on like everything that she's done. So for instance, she was in that amazing BBC version of Les Mis, where she was Eponine.
I don't think I knew
So
that.
good. Not, it was not a musical, but she was wonderful.
Yeah.
Then you have she was in Solo, a Star Wars story. That is forgotten film. Then she was in The Green Knight, which I liked, but a lot of people did not. But then she was in fucking The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which like she got cut out of a lot of because there was a whole like thing there. And then she was in that Willow TV show. So what I'm just trying to say is I was so happy to see her in this and like have a juicy role and real and it be like a good movie, like X, Y, and Z. Anyway, I think she's a wonderful actress.
Absolutely, I agree, and she was fantastic in this. Like, it just her, and she didn't have to have like a huge character development, but like it was enough to where you were sticking with her and rocking with her, and like, what is she going to do next? So I'm also excited that she's going to be in the next one because we get to see
Same.
more of her.
I was very happy she survives to be a main character, hopefully in the next one too.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And the last couple of things, like I loved the idea of, and Jamie mentioned this too, of seeing what the infected were seeing. And I wanted even more of that too, of like, let's dive into that. Like what, and even if the whole movie was just like a love story between the doctor and Samson, like I would be here for that too as well. Like I thought their chemistry and just how they were together in each scene was just very compelling. Like, and like Jamie mentioned too, one person is talking, but you're just so fascinated about how they keep coming back to each other and helping each other, and then just figuring out like the bigger picture of things. Like there is some form of a cure, and him just talking about curing the psychosis, I think is what he was saying with the medicine that he was giving Samson. But again, like I just wanted more zombies. But you know what? I did get more peen, and so I'm gonna just that.
Oh yeah, can we just take a moment to applaud films that show peen and like there's so much boobies and vaginas that like it was just nice to see a dong flopping its way, just not even a sexual way, just like this is
flopping
my dong.
In the wind.
Yeah,
this is the human body. Here we go. That's what I needed. That's all. And you know, I love Jack O'Connell forever. Actually, everybody in this movie, there's just such great like actors in this movie.
We even talked, Jamie and I talked about this after. Chai Lewis Perry, who plays the Alpha, was outstanding. His physical performance really good. Yeah.
It was great. I think in an interview also he was just like, I love being naked, so I don't care. I was like, yeah,
that's so funny. Good for you. Good for you.
Amazing. That's all I got. Brian?
I love that.
I really like this movie a lot. I just needed this to be better than the first one. I did not enjoy the first one as much. Like the first, sorry, the bone temple. The
boneless temple.
The boneless, yeah. 28 years later, the boneless temple. Yeah, I really liked this movie. I mentioned why funny, all that. The acting was great, as we mentioned. I thought that Jimmy's were great. The Alpha point of view was great, as we mentioned. One of my other favorite scenes is when he wakes up on the train and the Alpha, and he's like, I don't have a ticket. And like, he's like, it's carrying over from his like flashbacks and stuff. I thought that was really well done. I thought that Ralph Fiennes is truly amazing in this movie. I really thought that he cared. Like as an actor, he cared that he was doing this and what he was saying, and there was no phoning in these movies, and I really appreciate that. And I've mentioned this before, but something I really like about these two movies is that they're trying to do something different as a legacy sequel. Like Alex Garland, who wrote the first one and is writing these, just has such a unique voice in film writing, whether you like his movies or not. And I just think these two movies are doing something very interesting. Now, Nikisha, to your point, I find some of those things as likes and gripes. Meaning, yeah, I would have liked a little bit more of the alpha point of view, but I kind of really liked just that one moment of it. Like, we got it. I knew what that meant. It was well edited. I understood what was happening, whose point of view we were seeing, and so now I can take that piece of information and store it and use it moving forward. Like that. But would I've liked more? Yeah, but like enough was done, and I didn't feel like I was being hit over the head with everything. The Jimmies. Would I have liked a little bit more cult stuff in terms of like, why do you believe him? Like, why are we here? Like, but that's not a people conversation they would have had. That's a conversation they would have had years ago. We were just seeing what was happening in this moment, and the glimpses of not believing him anymore were good enough for me, because it would have felt like disingenuous exposition. To me, this movie doesn't have a lot of disingenuous exposition, mostly because the alpha needs to be spoken to, so you have that ability for Ralph Fiennes to do that stuff. And then any of the exposition was to Spike about the the duels and all of that stuff and the five fingers and things like that. Like, I thought that information in this movie was doled out perfectly. Like charity, like what does that even mean? Like, how does he mean that? And then when he's talking to Dr. Kelson, like, we just get a lot of that information in context clues or explanatory nature. So they were likes and gripes for me, but I dug it because the reason that they sway more likes is because I trust the filmmaker and the writer. If I didn't feel comfortable in their hands in the first 10 minutes of this movie, then I would have felt very differently. There are a lot of horror movies that we've talked about where you just don't feel comfortable in the director's like point of view in their hands and their ability to make you feel safe narratively. And this one does. And so Scorsese is somebody who does that. Like Scorsese is a perfect example of like, I feel comfortable watching this master like manipulate a narrative in front of me the way that he, from his point of view, wants you to see it. I think he's really good at that. And that's why you can sit through like a 5-hour Irishman. You know what I mean? Even though you might not like it as much as but anyway, so those were my likes about this movie. Again, that one scene is just incredible. Like one of my goals for 2026 is when I am ranking all of my Letterboxd best horror movies of the year, there's a place for notes. I'm going to put in like, if I like the title card, was there a standout scene? So at the end of the year, when we do our lists, I kind of can like, I can see that stuff. And in this one, I absolutely wrote that, like, that scene fucks. Some of my dislikes, I kind of didn't like that it took place all in the same like countryside as the first one. Like, why the fuck wouldn't like the dad come back? Like, it just felt weird that like they were in the same spot, and like, I don't know, I wanted,
and he
I wanted
like encounter any of his other people.
Not even that just like I need that, but also like I just needed it to, I needed to see something new, if that makes sense. I thought that Spike as a character really he was annoying in the first one, but I think he got the short straw in this one on character development. The whole time, especially if this is Spike's story, which it feels like it is, I just felt like he did not get to a place at the end where like he learned something. This whole time he's like, should I leave? I don't want to die. You know, like the whole time. And he doesn't even speak up with the Kelson thing. He plays his cards like stupidly. I know he's a kid, like in a dumb kid for that.
No, yell at this kid.
Yeah, but like I don't think the actor did a bad job. I think that the writing of that character felt like a bridge. The the Spike character is what made this feel like a bridge movie, as opposed to feeling like he went from point A to point B. And now on the third one, we can see how he gets from point B to point C, or however we're rating this. It didn't bother me as much because I don't love him, but like if he's the main character, I just needed him to grow a little bit more of a backbone at certain points. And then the rage stuff was awesome, like in terms of like giving him the serum and things like that. And I wonder, are now that we know that like it's a rage thing that can be blocked and it's a psychosis, like in some ways, like is this a zombie movie? Because they're not undead, right? So like are now in hindsight that we can, if we're assuming that we can like stop the rage, Evil Dies Tonight, like are these zombie movies, or is this a virus movie? You know what I mean? Like, is this a 12 Monkeys, or is this, I don't know the answer to that. I just think it's very interesting.
That is interesting.
Cool. Those are my likes and gripes. I really like this. Of the 4 new movies I've seen from this year, I think this is my number 1 so far, but there's a lot more year to go. This is also wonderful to not see a dumping ground of January. Like between this and Primate, January's been popping for horror movies.
Yeah. What was your 4 movies? So Primate, The Shark, this, and what was the other new one?
Let me the 4th one is We Bury the Dead.
Oh, okay. Is that
which I liked?
Side note.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a zombie movie for sure.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Any other last thoughts before we move on? Nar. All right.
Nar.
Okay. Well, let's get into brains.
Delicious.
Tasty. Delicious.
Much too good.
That just reminds me of the Fergalicious song when they're spelling out delicious. D to the E to the Licious. Anyway, so my question for you, Jamie, is can we Billy or Stu Jimmy?
Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative. Yeah, pizza scream, baby.
Billy or Stu?
Let's do it.
So I think this is a hard question because like, well, I guess I feel like it's leaning more Stu than Billy, because I do think that like this is somebody who is very impulsive, very reactive, like might have some ideas of a plan, but I also don't think it's a plan per se. I think he has like the kind of default behaviors and like power dynamic and hold over this group of people, but in terms of what he has them do or like where they're going, I feel like there is no plan. He's just like wandering with his like crew of misfits, and they're just like literally like going off and doing whatever. And I think like, they come across a place that's already housed by other people and then just kind of tear through it. But like, that's also not really planned. They just like found a house and are causing mayhem and chaos. Or maybe if no one was there, they just would have like stayed there, whatever. But like, I think that this is like, really off the cuff, just doing heinous things without any kind of like preconceived thought behind it at all.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I also was wondering too, I guess there really isn't a plan. Like even when they went and invaded that family's house.
Yeah.
But then they didn't even,
there was no plan. They just like, no, they just did it.
They just walked in and did it, which is wild.
Yeah.
Also, I think we mentioned this before, but the scene with, was it Jemima fighting the guy, but then the hook in her head? Oof.
Yeah.
Brutal, but very good.
Oh man, the second that he picked her, I was like, oh, what a mistake you've made. There's no way that this person is hinged and attached to the door frame. like this
Mhm.
you know what I mean, like
Yes.
spaghetti-o. And
Truly, spaghetti-o.
yeah, but like, yeah, I agree. I think like it seems like the Jimmys are just walking around like there might be people there, like charity time. Like
Mm-hmm.
the only preconceived thing is like this set of rules they follow. But like, I guess a lot of those questions that we asked earlier in this episode about like how 50-50 is it, like
Hmm.
you know, you know, I guess 50 could Stu, you know, which 50 is Stu, which 50 is Billy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. And then my last question is in regards to the Jimmy cult. Can you talk about why you think people were willing, his little fingers were willing to kind of stay and deal with the cruelty and brutality of this cult? Because I know Erin Kellyman's character, when she's talking to Spike, they had a whole conversation about like, there's nothing out there, so you can't leave. And like, she's
Mm-hmm.
kind of expressing like, she would like to go, but she left and
Mm-hmm.
there was nothing there. And so she kind of stayed. So I guess, could you just kind of talk on like what could be a person's reason for, you know, staying in such a life-threatening situation given the circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it just speaks to, you know, the dangers of being alone in this world. And, um, you know, like we just saw this whole experience of, you know, Spike in the last movie where he's like fairly independent. And again, still runs into the Jimmys. So it's like, I think the risk of being by yourself, and like how might that apply to outside of this movie, but just like this
Sure.
attraction towards perhaps like these unhealthy, if not unsafe, like group dynamics is like, you know, it's hard to run alone in certain contexts. And I think that the idea of being a part of something, even if the something isn't that particularly great,
Mm-hmm.
the sense of like belonging is greater than the problems with the behaviors within that group dynamic. It's like, you know, you're weighing the pros and cons of that decision.
Mhm.
And then I think that, yeah, I think that like in this particular, you know, world, in the context of this, there is a lot less like predictability. And even with Jimmy being unpredictable, there still is like some, not even like stability, because that's not the right words, but like
Mm-hmm.
the devil, to use the language of the movie, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
at least with Jimmy, there is a sense of like, oh, this person is just like willy-nilly making decisions versus somebody that you would expect to, like, you know, like the behavior that is unpredictable becomes expected. And so like with that, it's like, well, would I fare that much worse with like somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think there is some of that like questionable like thinking with Jimmy Kelly, who kind of says like, this is just the way that it is, or like, this is just like what we need to do, and isn't really like questioning it in the same way that Spike is. Which again kind of makes you wonder like, what were her experiences leading up to this, that make her feel like this is the best case scenario for her.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So again, it's like, what have people experienced where like the worst parts of this are still seemingly, or we're perceiving them to be better than what we were experiencing, or like, you know, if we are uncertain about certain things, it's like, well, this
Sure.
guy's a piece of shit, but like at least I have a crew of people, you know. So
right.
I think even if we're acting against our own interests, that we still might make those choices based on like what our mental state is and our perception of things, and you know, the impact of like being alone.
Yeah.
That's so interesting, because I was thinking about also in the macro, like I need to know more about this world. Like, so only the UK island is infected and everyone else is living normally. Like, why don't those people leave? Are they not letting them leave the island? Like, why doesn't Dr. Kelson
Right.
just like go to like try to find a port? Because like they're being delivered like stuff every once in a while, like the town. I don't remember. I have to rewatch the first one to see what the exposition was. But like, yeah. So you take that microcosm of the cult and then you open it up bigger. Like, why aren't these people just like trying to get to the mainland again? You know,
Sure.
you know, like, are they just not letting them because they might be infected and dormant, or I don't know. Just thoughts for another time.
No, but that's it's also like this particular space is already isolated, and like, you know, does that then also make it more challenging to envision like, how could I possibly do this on my own?
Sure.
But yeah, there is still like a lot of missing information that like as an audience we just don't entirely know, and I think that makes it harder to be like definitively like, why aren't they leaving? Like, why aren't they doing this? Like, we don't know. But the thing that I keep thinking about is like in these very, very, very rural communities, and also communities that are pretty insular, how is that a different experience from, you know, folks that were in the city, right? Like the first one takes place in London, right? And so it's just like being in a city where this outbreak happens versus being really far away. It still affects you, but there's so much more like space and ways for you to create these walls, both literally and perhaps figuratively. And how might that, like, again, if there is this larger evil or a way to get better resources or connect with more people, potentially better people, like you're already kind of maybe operating from this, like, let's keep away from these larger crowds because, you know, we're safer here.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, no, that totally.
Gosh.
But yeah, it definitely, I didn't think about any of these things watching this. I was like, I really need to process this because I don't know if I liked it, but that one dance scene was pretty cool. And now that we're talking about it, I'm like, oh, interesting. Like, it took a while for me to like get here, and only until we talked about it did I get here. So
yeah, no, that's great. And then now I'm just thinking about like, what was it? A Quiet Place Day 1, and just like even though this is like a completely different thing, but just like being in a city and experiencing like something as opposed to being in more of a rural area.
Totally.
And
yeah,
just
because
like,
you know,
where would you
we can imagine that the impact, even if it's the same like thing that happens, the actual impact would absolutely vary based on so many different factors. So like it is interesting seeing this, like, again, this focused storyline on these very like rural communities, and just like, you know, these isolated spaces. Because if we're also talking about like, you know, who's the worst in these like post-apocalyptic things, it's like, it's always the humans like teaming up and being pieces of shit. But like, you know, are like, when we do find the few and far between that like are building community, and like, you know, that there is this empathy and compassion as opposed to like wanting to cause harm to others. How do you like find those spaces within a space that is very like, you know, you figure out your own shit, I'm going to figure out mine.
Especially because with the Jimmy cult, that you know, in the conversation that he had with Dr. Kelson, he was like, yeah, this all happened because, you know, God sent down his wrath, or Satan sent down his, you know, like the cause of it is more like a religious kind of standpoint. So it is kind of thinking about how you would build community when you think like all this is being caused because a higher being is, you know, like sending off all of this stuff to happen, as opposed to what it actually was, which was like the whole science of it all. But it's just interesting to think about like people's what adds to people's reasoning for like being in community or not. And Jimmy is like, well, I just have my community, but like everyone else needs this charity because this was a higher calling that said this is supposed to be happening to people.
Yeah.
You know,
That's also interesting. This movie is obviously, and it is very much like science versus religion, you know, science versus, well, not religion, but like, let's just say like the unknown, whether it's Satan or whatever it is. And while it is clearly talking about those themes, it's not like subtextually talking about those themes. It is outright talking about them. I never felt like I was being hit over the head with the message.
Sure.
And I think that's like really hard to do.
yes.
That's all I really had to say about that. That's
No, I agree. And just lastly, speaking on the empathy stuff, because it was really nice to see like Dr. Kelsing having some empathy for someone who has the virus, and in that created a cure for it too.
Yeah.
So it was like seeing humans as humans. Actually was the thing that caused, you know, some type of like cure for it. So yeah.
Oh, there was one other gripe that I forgot about. Like you reminded me, Nikisha. I agree with you. I would have liked more zombies in this, not necessarily for the gore, but you had mentioned earlier in your comments you wish you had seen the Jimmies like fighting off more zombies and stuff like that. I think the one thing this movie is missing a little bit is, yes, we are afraid of the Jimmies. We're afraid of anyone that comes in contact with the Jimmies. Aside from like maybe 3, you know, sound-based jump scares in the whole movie, I would have definitely liked a little bit more reminding us that like outside of the Jimmies there is still tension. So there's the tension of the rage monsters, there's the tension of the Jimmies, and there's the tension of like the internal aspect of the Jimmies. And I think I could have used a little bit more like, don't forget about this world that we're in, like you know, like it really only happens to the alpha in this movie realistically in terms of like them attacking. So I could have used like, maybe it was cut for time, but I could have used one more like Jimmy's fighting off zombie sequences, you know, like that's just to remind us that like they're still fighting the zombies too. They're just fuckers.
Right.
Sure.
I agree. Great. Should we Rotten Tomato this?
Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
It's the Rotten Tomatoes game.
Okay. What do you think this has on Rotten Tomatoes? Jamie, why don't you start?
73.
Okay. Nikisha?
79.
This has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Whoa.
And it has an 89% popcorn meter.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
As opposed to 28 years later, has an 88 score and a 63% popcorn meter.
Oh, okay.
And the critics' consensus on this movie is a direct continuation of 28 years later that ups the gore while deepening the dread. The Bone Temple is finely adorned by Nia DaCosta's unnerving direction, as well as Ralph Fiennes and Jack O'Connell's inspired performances. I agree with that.
Yeah, the acting in this was incredible.
Do you agree with that, Jamie?
Yeah, and I agree with the acting part. Honestly, I just keep thinking about Jack O'Connell and like, man, he's having a year. Also, from Skins, again, how many you know folks leaning into horror who started out on Skins. We're starting to create the pattern here.
Also, Jamie and I were talking before the movie, after the movie, I don't remember. But if we didn't look up that was Jack O'Connell, I don't think I would have known that person and Remick from Sinners was the same person. I don't think I would have.
The way that they looked so vastly different was so impressive.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Now, what do you think this has on Letterboxd? As a reminder to our listeners, it is 0 through 5 with decimal points. Nikisha, we are going to start with you.
Okay.
What do you think?
3.2.
Okay. Jamie?
3.4.
This is a 4.0
Oh.
on Letterboxd. And I'm going to read the top 3, and then I'm going to read you 2 that I just like really, really like.
Right.
At number 3, Dr. Ian Kelson is my buddy. That's my best friend. That guy can come over anytime. That's my pal.
Yes. Agreed.
At number 2, How to Train Your Zombie.
Actually, yes. Yes.
Also, this movie is just about like getting high with your friends leads to great things.
Agreed. More of that in 2026. Thank you.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And the number 1 review, or the most liked review, is how many more perfect performances must Ralph Fiennes give us before we give him an Oscar?
Yeah.
Wow. He doesn't have an Oscar?
No.
That's wild.
He's been nominated many times.
Oh, I'm sure.
And
That really blows my mind.
And he's been in multiple movies that have won Best Picture.
Yeah.
Which is
nuts.
wild.
That is, yeah.
Yeah. He'll get one. He'll end up getting one. 2 of my favorite ones of this is Cinema Joe, you might know from social media, wrote, which isn't very long in architectural terms. Great quote from the movie.
Yes. Love that.
And then this is a review from a film critic that I enjoy. Absolutely incredible. Maybe the best film ever about the importance of physical media.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah,
Analog. Also.
when the apocalypse comes, you got to have your DVDs and record player.
You do. Analog, man. Get into it. Oh, that's
cool.
great.
Cool. Great. Fantastic. Yeah, let's do the 4 S's.
I was like, how many more
next.
words can you say for good?
Great. Good. Awesome.
Great.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Incredible. Wonderful. Fantastic. Yada-doo. 4 S's.
Yes. Yes.
Skull, scare, shakes, and suggestions. The Talking Horns 4 S's.
Man.
The 4 S's are skulls, scares, shakes, and suggestions. Skulls is how well this movie handled mental health and human behavior. At 1 through 10. At number skulls, scares. How scary was it? Shakes. I can remember this one. I don't know. We're gonna once and done, and then we'll give some suggestions at the end. Jamie, why don't you start us off?
Sure. For skulls, I gave this a 7. Oh my god! I hope everything's okay. I hope the skulls didn't get you.
Oh my god, the skulls! The skulls! Those dem bones? Dem bones?
The bones!
Yeah.
The bones are their money. So for skulls, I gave this a 7. I think that I think that there's a lot of like instinctual behaviors happening in this that like feel very grounded. I think that there is a lot of just like very interesting, from like a scientific perspective, kind of hypothesizing and exploring. And again, there's like I think a pretty good like representation of humanity in a variety of ways during a like crisis. So yeah, I felt overall, like given the context of the world, there's a lot of groundedness in how people are, moving through the world. For scares, I gave it a 3. I think that there were, to me, a lot of like kind of cheap jump scares at times that like annoyed me. Because also like, again, sitting in the movie theater watching this, where like the sound plays such a big role in being startled, like it just would get so loud all of a sudden. And I think that was more jarring than the like, oh yeah, some like anything could pop out at any moment. It is whatever. But yeah, the sound definitely scared me several times. For shakes right now, I'm giving it a 5. Because I'm actually curious to see how long it really stays with me.
Sure.
Given that it took me a bit to kind of like process and have a deeper perspective on this movie that like required talking to you all as opposed to just like it living in my own brain. So I'm curious if it'll stay with me, through the rest of this year.
did you we saw it 1 week ago. Have you been thinking about it a lot in those 7 days, or if we didn't have this episode, would you have been thinking as much about it?
Probably less, but I think I've been thinking about that like Satan scene at the end. And maybe a little bit about like the alpha and just like what does this mean that there was this like breakthrough moment. And now that he no longer had, like, I was like, okay, so like his companion who is helping him is dead. Like, what's going to happen to him? Like, I've kind of been thinking about it from that perspective. More so than like, I don't really care what happens to Spike.
Sure. Yeah.
Real talk.
The third movie has to do a lot with his character for me to feel like his journey was worth it through the first two.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So those are my 3 guesses.
Nikisha.
Yeah, mine are very similar. 7 also for skulls. The people were definitely peopling, and I do want to point out, Brian. I think you mentioned this. We were just existing in the world, and so conversations that would involve unnecessary exposition like would have felt forced. And I agree with that. We were just sitting there vibing with them, while they're chopping up people.
Yeah.
And I'll give this a 2 for scares. I agree that jump scare with Jack O'Connell on the crucifixion thing, where it just gets quiet and then something's coming, and then there's a jump scare. You're like, okay, fine. And then middle road 5 for shakes for me.
Cool. I also gave it a 7 for skulls, same reason as you all did. I gave this a 3 for scares, and not just the jump scares. A lot of the Jimmy stuff was just very unsettling to me, and I was thinking 4, but I'm just gonna go 3 on that one. And then I give this a 7.5 for shakes, and I probably would have given it a 5 without that scene. That scene is what like boosts these numbers for this movie.
Okay.
For sure.
Because it was kind of I forget who said this, but like ending should be surprising and inevitable, and I just felt like that's exactly what this was. It was surprising in like what happened. It was inevitable in terms of like, that was the end of Kelson, and Jimmy got what he wanted, like everything that happened felt like earned, and I definitely dug this. And at the end of the day, you're another day older, but I was not excited for this movie because I didn't care for the first one. I'm genuinely excited to see how they end this thing.
Okay. That's fair. Fair assessment.
Cool. Suggestions. Who wants to start?
I'll go.
All right.
Woo!
I only have one. My suggestion is also a movie I haven't seen in a very long time. 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Okay.
I love that movie.
Yeah, just like, people acting real interesting during a potential apocalypse.
Yeah.
Okay. And then my suggestion, because I was thinking about the thing that I keep thinking about after seeing this movie is just the relationship between Dr. Kelson and Samson. So then I was thinking about another relationship with Zombie Not Zombie and Warm Bodies.
Zombie Not Zombie.
Sure.
Zombie Not Zombie. Yes.
So I have a couple. Bone Lake.
Bones.
Bone Tomahawk.
Yes.
The Bone Collector. The Lovely Bones.
I'm gonna
Bones and All. And
episode.
That Brendan Fraser classic, Monkey Bone.
Oh my God. Yep.
Or is that
Good
Chris
stuff.
Kattan?
No, I think it's Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser. Whew. Chris Kattan is in it. Great news. Okay, cool. I actually
love it.
my real one is like I'm gonna go back and watch the first one, see if my like of this one changes my feelings for the first one at all. So if you did not like the first one and like this one, that's my suggestion for you.
Go back and see. All right. Fantastic. Well, that wraps up our episode of 28 Years Later. Bone Temple, the Bone Temple. You can follow us on
Get boned.
You can follow us on the socials, Instagram, TikTok at Talk Horror Pod. And producer Brian, where can they listen to us?
You can listen to us wherever. I literally mean wherever you get podcasts. So like YouTube, hi YouTube, we're there.
What's up?
Spotify, we're there. Apple Podcasts. Remember the last one. We're there. And rate and review us there. 5 stars, please.
And
thank you.
That just made me think of whenever, wherever we're meant to be together. Shakira.
Oh,
yes.
Because he said you can listen to us wherever. And
Okay. Yeah.
sorry, put two together.
Yeah.
That's why. It's like, why are you singing Shakira right now? It's because of that. All right, don't get boned or get boned. You know,
don't
get
boned.
Whatever you want.
Yeah. Get boned. Don't get boned or definitely get boned. The bones are their money. So are the worms.
Bye.
I'm obsessed. Bye, guys.